Joy. Psalm 126 is about joy. In Psalm 126, it says the Negeb with a B, but we often call it the Negev. It refers to an arid southern desert of Israel. It's used as a powerful metaphor for life, dryness and hardship, exile, and where the psalmist prays for God to bring sudden, miraculous restoration, like life-giving streams suddenly flowing through dry riverbeds after rain, turning barrenness into vibrant, fruitful landscapes of joy and abundance. It signifies a deep longing for God's swift, transformative presence, turning tears and sowing in sorrow into reaping with shouts of joy. A reading from the 126th Psalm. When the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, we were like those who dream. Then our mouth was filled with laughter and our tongue with shouts of joy. Then it was said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. The Lord has done great things for us, and we rejoiced. Restore our fortunes, O Lord, like the water courses in the Negeb. May those who sow in tears reap with shouts of joy. Those who go out weeping, bearing the seed for sowing, shall come home with shouts of joy, carrying their sheaves. Thus ends the reading. May God add joy to our reading, hearing, and keeping of this holy word. Will you pray with me? May the words of my mouth fertilize your planted seeds, O God. Amen. Seeking God's presence. Those in the Negeb are seeking God's presence. Their lives are filled with difficulty and distress, sorrow, dryness that no moisturizer will balm. But the promise of Christmas is God's presence. We can practice receiving and being God's presence in the world, and the best practice of that is joy. You see, our deepest gifts don't come under the tree. They don't come wrapped in magic paper. They come with God's presence, God with us. Our relationship with God and God's relationship with those around us. Our deepest gifts come from God. And we receive and extend God's gifts by living them, by sharing them with others, by being that rain of joy that fills the dry deserts around us. Our deepest gift is God's presence. Psalm 126, as I just indicated, celebrates joy. Joy related to what God has done for God's people. Written some 6 centuries before Jesus, the people of Israel, God's people, were in Babylonian exile. They were either exiled to Babylon or the Babylonians were living among them and were providing them their government. The people were not living their own choice. They were not living their own destiny, something hard for us to imagine. And yet Psalm 126, in the midst of all that dryness, celebrates joy. And it all seems a dream because they feel caught by what they're in, but then God is joy. Professor Beth Laniel Tanner says, this is a time when they dream of freedom, of hope, and of joy. Water flowing through the Negev desert. Those who weep will find seeds of joy and then showers of blessing. The seeds of joy become shouts of joy. The people of God in exile dream of coming home, of being home, their own home and their own hope. Australian professor Howard Wallace says Psalm 126 leads us with a call to be like dreamers, those whose lives are shaped not by the limits of our experiences, but by the hidden reality of what God has already declared will be. It also leaves us with tremendous sense of joy in coming home as the Lord comes home to us in the midst of tears of this earthly experience. In the new year, dream a dream of joy. If you had to stop right now and just imagine, what would make you joyful in the new year? What would make you truly joyful? So joyful that it would seem as though you were a river of joy flowing out to others. What would truly bring you that joy? The biblical editors of the New Revised Standard Version label Psalm 126 as a harvest of joy. And what gives a harvest of joy? I got socks for Christmas. Happens every Christmas. I'm always grateful for them. Got 3 pair this year, and they fit, which is wonderful. Sometimes they don't. You know, they ride up on your heel and they get all weird. I've got a pair on this morning. They feel pretty good. But getting the socks isn't what brought me the joy. What brought me the joy was the giver. That my spouse loves me enough. Cheryl loves me enough to give me socks. We're hard to buy for each other now. I'm in my 60s. She's a little younger. Don't you find it hard to buy for somebody at that age? I mean, I have what I need, more than what I need, and if I want something, I buy it because somebody else will buy it differently. It just doesn't work. But I was grateful for this because it gave me joy to know that somebody gave me socks. She would want me to tell you that she also gave me other things, but the socks were very exciting for me. What Christmas gifts give you joy? Socks? Anybody else get socks? All right, good. My fellow sock people, good. But what else did you get that brought you joy this Christmas? Non-rhetorical question. You can respond. A new sink? Wonderful. A heating pad? Oh, nice. What else? Christmas spiced coffee. What does Christmas taste like? I'm curious. Delicious, okay. What's that? You can't even eat a holiday? Okay. All right. It seems like I eat a holiday every holiday. I eat a lot, but yes. What else brought you joy this Christmas? A blanket that says the best aunt, and you can lie underneath that blanket and be delightfully happy. What about relationships? So many of you, as you come in today or before the holiday, we're really looking forward to seeing family, friends, making new acquaintances. Oh, my family's coming. I'm making my best food. Oh, my son likes this pie. My daughter likes that. Yes? The family as they come in. Those relationships, a visit by someone, a friend. The thrill of getting is fleeting. The thrill of getting is fleeting. The joy of giving lasts. University of Chicago produced a study that shows that happiness fades quickly when we buy gifts for ourselves, right? But sustains when we give gifts to others or to charity. So when we get gifts for ourselves, it's fleeting. But when we give to others or to charity, that joy continues on and lasts. Giving is the greater source of meaning. You give and you get joy. The Christmas season can be difficult for those not experiencing joy. They can feel like an exile, like the people of Psalm 126, whose life is in a desert. Those who sow tears, those who go out weeping. God knows you in those desert times. That's the promise of 126. That's the promise of our longest night service that we had last Sunday. God knows you in your times of weeping and can transform those times of weeping into joy. And there's plenty of our struggle, Family trials, broken dreams, recent deaths or deaths long ago, global crises, war, famines, despair, divisions. Poet Mary Oliver tells us that there are plenty of lives and whole towns destroyed or about to be. And while much can never be redeemed, life has possibility left. Don't hesitate to experience joy. That's the title of her poem, Don't Hesitate, by Mary Oliver. If you suddenly and unexpectedly feel joy, don't hesitate. Give in to it. There are plenty of lives and whole towns destroyed or about to be. We are not wise and not very often kind. And much can never be redeemed. Still, life has some possibility left. Perhaps this is a way of fighting back, that sometimes something happens better than all the riches or power in the world. It could be anything. But very likely, you notice it the instant when love begins. Anyway, that's often the case. Anyway, whatever it is, don't be afraid of its plenty. Joy is not made to be a crumb. I love that. Joy is not made to be a crumb. Thank you, Mary Oliver, for that. Joy is not made to be a crumb. It's joy. Joy is a whole batch of cookies. Experience the whole batch of joy. Don't hesitate. Be like a child opening a gift and cheering. Be like a child. Does a child ever open a gift and say, "Oh, you shouldn't have"? No, a child opens a gift and goes, look at this, isn't this wonderful? It is a joy. Delight in the lawn ornaments. I was bummed. They're 2 doors down from us is a guy who put up one of those blow-up things, a reindeer, 20 feet high. It's magnificent. There are looms so large. He took it down yesterday. I was so sad. I told him I wanted him to leave it up. He said he can't afford the electricity anymore. But lawn ornaments are so delightful. So don't hesitate with them. Hear the songs of joy. As I shop at the local grocery, there's a person standing outside ringing the bell for the kettle, right? Ring, 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 ring. But the ones that are truly wonderful are the ones who dance while they ring, or they sing while they ring. And there was a whole group of them singing cheery Christmas songs for all of us as we went by. Don't hesitate. Embrace the joy. Hear the songs of joy. Taste the food of love. Experience joy. Read those newsy letters from long-neglected friends. Don't hesitate to experience the joy. Give as generously as you can, and don't hesitate to give in to that joy. A little goes a long way, doesn't it? A little joy goes a long way for our hearts. And if a little goes a long way, a lot goes a lot further. Each brings joy. The whole batch of cookies. My aunt's mother owned a bakery in West Chicago, Illinois. And she was a magnificent baker. And I got to go one time when they were making the cookies. We would go to their house for Christmas, and it was always more people than you could fit in the house and more cheer than any house could possibly hold. And in the 60s, more cigarette smoke than was healthy for anybody, for those of you who remember those times. But they made cookies, magnificent Swedish cookies, truly magnificent. And the piles would get bigger and bigger and bigger. And as they baked them, they would tell stories and tease one another and sing songs, and it was just a riot of joy. It was absolutely magnificent. And they laughed and they sang, and we reaped the harvest of this at Christmas. For all of these people not only had cookies to eat while we were there, but there were tins, and we would pack them up and take them so that we could share the joy, and it would grow. Cookies. About once a day, I bump into something called cookies. What about you? On your computer? This site uses cookies to improve your customer experience. I'm always suspicious of that. I studied what these cookies are supposed to be, and what it is that you leave a trail of where you go on your computer, which makes me nervous, and that trail is there to give you a better experience in life. But imagine if you left cookies of joy, little pieces of joy all around you, so that others' experience may be more joyful and your experience may be joyful as well. It frustrates us. It frustrates us that the world is not so filled with joy, but part of that is us. So when you imagine, when you dream, when you imagine what it will be like in 2026, how will you share joy? How will you leave a trail of joyous cookies for others? Spread the cookies of joy. Find the opportunity to rejoice. Don't hesitate. Experience the whole batch of joy. God shares the child of joy, joy to the world.